This is such a bad diagram. टाइम भी नहीं मिला अपने को करने को फिक्स या नहीं. इसमें दिख रहा था मुझे इसमें. Sure. इससे अच्छा हाँ नहीं देखने का. ये ब्लू क्यों दिख रहे हो आप इसमें? आपका स्क्रीन में ब्लू दिख रहा होगा कि इधर तो ठीक है. या या हेलो 4. Oh. Hello, everybody. Am I visible? I can't see. If you can see me, then that's fine. Again, we'll have to set up. That's okay. Hello, everybody. I don't know if the mic is on or not.
Hello,
Can you hear me?
Papa.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, no, it's on.
It's connected.
It should be right. But that's not the issue. For some reason, it's in half screen.
It's the box thing.
No,
Yeah.
look, login. Yeah.
All right. I guess people are on, and I'm going to start speaking. I don't know if you guys can hear me well, and if you can see the board. I'm sure you can see the board. So yesterday we spoke.
Yes, you can hear.
We can hear.
I responded saying she can hear.
Awesome. So we did yesterday speak about my Ambama, the divine light. Again, I did see a lot of people from different origins were also here from different culture. So I would kind of just specify a little bit that Nav Durga is, so we call her divine mother. You can call it divine light. You can call the divine feminine principle, which is within all of us, that allows us to do what we are doing. Every action, every emotion, every thought is happening. Even the breath is happening, prana is happening because of the divine feminine. A lot of people call Shakti. So this is especially a little bit for people who may be from a different origin, different culture, who may not exactly quite know what Ma is. Ma is just mother, and when I keep saying my ma, that's the divine mother. I'll try and use the word divine, divine light. But yeah, so that's about it. Yesterday, many of you may have joined. Today, some may be new. I'm not sure. Yesterday we spoke. I'll give you just a little bit of a highlight of what we talked about yesterday. Is that we are the spirit, the true spirit within us is the divine light itself, and we come. Now this is a different picture, so that picture is moved out. But we come. This Nav Durga 9-day workshop is also the same as that I have created a space called Awaken Inner Shakti, and that is to awaken and embrace the divine feminine within all of us. The divine feminine sounds very feminine, of course, and a lot of people may feel that it is for just the women, but it's not. All of us have the divine feminine and the divine masculine within us. And it's very important for both to be in balance for us to be able to rise. So, what it is that, and again, some may know, some may not know. So, Shiv and Shakti, that's the Shiv is the divine masculine and Shakti is the divine feminine. And they are meant to be together, and they are like a coin, two sides of the coin. They are not separate from each other. They have different principles they live, uh, rather live as within us, in different ways. So one is the consciousness, as in the awareness of being human, being divine, or being whatever we believe we are. And then the other is the one who is making us aware. So it's like a, let me put it as a light bulb. So one is the bulb or the light itself that projects the rays of light. So one is the rays and one is the light that holds those rays within, up in it, right? So it's a container. One is the container, one is the substance. Without the substance, container, it has nothing, it's empty. And without the container, the substance is all scattered. It's like scattered energies. So you can also say like the sun and the rays. The sun itself would be the awareness, the consciousness, but the sun, it would not have the rays coming out, we would not experience the light that we are experiencing. So that's what is the divine feminine and the divine masculine, which both are not separate. They are not different from each other. They are in union forever and always. So that's what the concept is, that we are trying to, within us, unite first each of the divine feminine and the masculine counterparts. And that comes from everywhere. So it's in the heart space, in our emotions, the one, and then it's also in the conscious subconscious. You can call one is feminine power, one is the masculine power. And similarly, when you are trying to move forward and move higher in life, every so I'll go a little bit about chakras. So chakras are, each chakra has a respective, these are energy centers in our body, and each energy center has a specific task to attain. Like the root chakra is responsible for us to achieve balance of basics, food, shelter, necessities, needs. Then comes the desire, which is the sacred chakra, and that is for the, everything that you feel for, you have emotions, you want something, you like something, is the creative flow that's within you, the power and ability to create, right? We'll just talk about these two right now, because we did yesterday the Shail Putrima, and then today we are going to take into Brahmacharinima. So these are the two, first and second Roop, Nav Durga Roop. Roop is, again, it's just incarnation, but not even incarnation. It's um, like how we are as a women. We can be a daughter, we can be a mother, we can be a wife, we can be a friend, we can be a boss in a corporate. So we are also playing different roles, right? So that's how it is, and that's how it's been explained to us, that how we can graduate from one role to the other to the other. So in the first one, we discussed yesterday that strength and determination are the traits of Ma Shailaputri. The goal, again, whoever has missed it yesterday, the goal is to eventually rise, first recognize, then awaken that divine feminine, then embrace, and then embody. So all of you is more of her and less of you. And the goal is to let go, like the onion peels we spoke about yesterday, let go of each peel of the onion one after the other. So what remains is pure divine light. And that's how we can rise and let our layers go, so that the divine feminine can expand within us. So that's the part. Like, we have to make room for her. To make room for her, we have to let go, little bit by little bit, let go of us as an identity that we have built through years of conditioning and living life. Now, that brings us to the first part, that we said that, okay, strength and determination is our is what she shows in her first role. And what messes that up in us? Like, how are we at all the time with that strength and determination standing tall? Sometimes not. So, what comes as a blockage for us to embody divine? And that is self doubt and victim mentality, right? And that comes from, so now I'll explain a little bit of this, and I'm sure you guys can see it. So, that's the tree. The tree is basically what it's telling you is that these are the roots. This is what we have been sowing. These are the seeds here. These are the seeds that we have sown for ages, and not ages like births and births and births. From those seeds, it's all kind of growing more and more and more, and it's becoming stronger. What is this? This is this. All of this is your be. Be is your identity, who you are. You be this. You are born out of this. And this stands for beliefs. These are all our beliefs that's deep rooted in us, that not necessarily have to be the right beliefs, right? A lot of us from your and my generation probably, we have been saying so much. Like I say it very often, that there's so many things that we have to unlearn first, so that we can make ourselves empty of those beliefs and then relearn new beliefs. So that's what it is. That the beliefs have taken place and it's been so strong rooted, because that's what is allowing you to dream. You can only dream as much as this belief, this is your paradigm. Only as much as this allows you, whatever is stored in this is what you have the capacity to think of, to imagine, to dream, to envision something, or to believe something, or to react in a certain way. Your reaction, what is your belief? What is building these beliefs? Every experience that you have experienced so far, every experience that you have noticed and observed in somebody else, like we said so many times, that if somebody tells you you can't do that, that's very difficult. They're not saying that you can't do that. What they're saying is they couldn't do it, and therefore they believe that you can't do that. But most of us, when we hear that, we make their belief and their opinion, we make it our own. And that's how slowly we start building these beliefs. And every emotion, every trigger that we feel when we promptly, impulsively react, that's coming out of these core beliefs, because that core beliefs is what's giving you a perception of any event. So when there is an event that is happening in front of you, an experience that you're having, what it is that you are wearing this lens, the lens of this subconscious paradigm, and everything that you will understand and perceive will come through that lens. It's like if you are wearing a red glasses, you will see every, even the grass will look red, right? And if you're wearing green glasses, even the red rose might look yellowish green, right? So everything is being layered with that tint. The tint is of the belief of the paradigm. What also happens is that, so every emotion, your habits, your thought processes, your narratives. What is a narrative? Narrative is something that you keep talking, you keep telling yourself, right? Oh, I can do this. That's also a narrative. Oh my God, that is so hard for me. That is also a narrative. So we build our narratives on the basis of our thoughts and emotions and beliefs. And then those same narratives are actually training your beliefs furthermore into believing the same thing more. So, coming back to the self victim mentality, and coming back to self doubt and not being sure or confident of doing something, is because that's your beliefs are holding you down. This, it shows actually so much in equal proportion, but it's not true. So these roots, actually I didn't have enough room, but it goes down. This is 95%. This paradigm is 95% of you. What you are seeing here is only 5%. So 5% is your conscious mind, and that has control over your fruits, what you can input. 95% is coming from here. Even your do is the doing. What are the actions that you are taking? The actions also, what you're taking, are based on the beliefs. Because if your belief is not aligned with your emotions or your dream, if your dreams and your beliefs are not in alignment, you will not be able to act upon it. That's the challenge which many of us face without realizing, and then we try fixing everything on here. You cannot. What you have planted has already taken energy and has risen into the manifestation, full blown manifestation of your conscious, of your current reality. This is your current reality. But on the same way, what I was trying to explain is that if this is this is your roots, this is your paradigm. Everything from here to here is your paradigm. And only this much is in your hands, consciously in your hand, that you can apply. So, therefore, when you have a whole army leading your game, they are going to win until you become aware of it. If you, so this is only 5%, but it is very, very powerful, very powerful. What is that? That's your conscious brain, your conscious mind, your ability to analyze, your ability to discern and separate good from bad, your ability to focus, your ability to build strength, your ability to understand different perspectives, your ability to reframe your old perspectives, your ability to guide. So, this is actually like it's like a pilot of the plane, and this is just the engine. But the engine is powerful. Without the engine, the pilot cannot go anywhere, right? But who has the steering wheel? Who can guide it? The pilot. The pilot can lead you in the direction where it wants to, but it has to be aware. So, what the problem with us has been for many, many years is that we are not aware that what we are doing is not like we'll decide, oh, tomorrow onwards, I'm going to go to the gym. And then guess what happens? Morning happens. And then in the morning, the lazy us wakes up. Oh, it's too cold. Oh, I'm too tired. I had a long night. I cannot go today. Let's start tomorrow. Right? Why? That's because this one is in control. Your engine is in your control. The pilot has not taken control yet. But if you now become aware that you have the capacity to control the engine, you cannot change the engine, but you can control the engine, right? And how you control the engine is by not giving it energy. Deplete the energy of from the roots. If there is a tree that you don't like, if there are the plants that you're not liking, all you have to do is stop watering that plant and seed new plants, plant new seeds, sorry, and start watering that. What does that mean? What that means is that you cannot, it's like a little child, right? You can, if the child has a red marker, and guess what? I don't want that child to play with the red marker. Can you snatch it away from him or her? You cannot. Why? Because they're going to cry. They're going to be cranky about it. They're going to still hold it so much harder, right? Why that happens is because you can never fight a conflict with a conflict. What you can do is, because that's just creating more conflict, more resistance. What you would do is, ideally, is give the child another toy to play. I would give her, let's take this blue marker, leave this aside, and probably not even leave this aside. Just give this marker, and as soon as the focus shifts, you let this one go. Right? That's how you play with yourself. So again, my favorite one, like I say, Abraham Hicks, she always says that you cannot create more resistance fighting with the resistance. You cannot. What you are observing is so obvious that you cannot challenge it. What you have to just do is let something else come in the foreground and let this volume start to, it will start to faint by itself. When you bring something, it's like when you're talking, right? And if somebody is 10 feet away, you won't listen to that person as much. So, what you do is by bringing something else in the foreground, you are kind of increasing the volume of that what's in the foreground, right? It's like that's how our mind also switches, right? If I was doing some, I'm explaining the class, suddenly the fire alarms, goes off. What am I going to do? I'm going to run. Why? Because my mind switched off and it told me that something else needs my attention. And that's how it is, that when you bring something in the foreground, you will lose automatically that attention and the momentum on the thought that's not serving you any good. That's how you bring something in the foreground powerful, which is by your attending to your conscious mind, using your conscious mind, putting your focus and attention in the direction where you want to go. And how you deplete the energy going to these routes that you have not been liking it is giving new thoughts. And that's the other part, how you can give new thoughts a direction. That is just focusing and attention, giving it attention already is activating your RAS. What is an RAS? RAS is reticular activating system. What it does is it's the barrier between the subconscious and the conscious. We are processing 11 million bits of information every every day. And out of that, we can only process, the conscious brain can only process 40 bits of information. What is the difference? Where is that all going then? That's all going in the subconscious. Everything that you're observing. See, when you narrow your focus, you can see right now me and the whiteboard. But if you did not narrow your focus, you'll be able to see everything around, but you did not quite notice it. There's a plant here, or there's something else here. Somebody else walks by you. So you are aware of it, but you are not conscious of it. And that aware of it, everything goes gets stored in the subconscious, because RAS thinks that that's not very important to you right now. What you need to do is only focus on the whiteboard and what I'm talking to. So your RAS is focused on that. So that's how RAS decides what is important to you by your attention. When you make a choice, is when the RAS is also making a choice, that what does it want to keep it in the foreground, what does it want to keep it, shove it in the background, right? Another beautiful example is that, like the phone, we get the Instagram notices and the shorts and YouTube shorts and everything, right? And what comes to our attention always is what we like, right? If you have finished a video, if you've ticked like the video, that video or similar kind of, reels will come in front of you. Why? That's the algorithm. That's how the phone knows that this is important for you. Anything that you just scroll past it, then it'll start showing less of it. And everything you finish and you are observing and you repeat it is what will start bringing it in the foreground. It'll show you all those. It doesn't mean that the things are not happening around, right? There are all kinds of reels. But to me, when I open it, I get all these kind of, either it's this scientific, psychological things, or it's spiritual things, because that's what interests me. So only those reels come to me. Doesn't mean that there is nothing else happening in the world. There's so many other reels happening, and so many other people are making different reels. It doesn't appear in my posts in my phone, because that's how I trained my phone algorithm. And that's how you train your mental algorithm, your RAS, that hey, my focus is on growth, my focus is on gratitude, my focus is on flying high, I can do it. My focus is on feeling good all the time. That's how you will train your RAS. And it's a very, very, very big and a very powerful way to train your RAS, to get all the dirt out of your subconscious, which is not serving you. So there may be some great beliefs, right? An actor's son, my son believes he can be an actor and he's gotten good things in his acting career. Why? Because his father is an actor, so he believes that it's very easy to become an actor. Similarly, for a doctor's son, a doctor or a daughter can become a doctor very easily, because she thinks, oh, doctor is, my dad did it, it's easy. Why? Because from the childhood, that's the conditioning it has happened. Then there's another conditioning, right? It's the big famous one that, especially, I'm sure my generation has heard it so many times, that money doesn't grow on tree, right? And that yet there is the same money that others can make it and some cannot. Why? Because we probably have been conditioned in believing that money comes only with hard work, or sometimes even with hard work money doesn't come. It's a game of luck. Is it? It's not. Now science also says it's not. So earlier there were these laws of manifestation and law of resonance, law of effect and cause and effect. And as much as we want to believe in it, and I believe in it, and that's how I changed my life beautifully. But it's hard for people to believe it because that's not something you can see it. It's not proven, right? It's not scientific. So a lot of times we feel, oh, it's just universal laws, it's spiritual laws, it's just beliefs. People believe it, and but it's not true for everybody. But now science says it, and science says every part of all of this. It has given it a scientific meaning, so it's becoming very much easier, I think, for people now to believe and flow with it. You know, and so yeah, again coming back to that. So you don't want to be car with full lot of fuel, but then the driver doesn't know where to go. So you can keep running the car in the whole town, but you won't reach a destination. And that's how it goes with the subconscious and conscious, because they are not in alignment. So one says, that I want to be, do, and have this. But if your beliefs are not on board with it, it's not going to happen. One way to train is the RAS. The second way is, it's not the second way, but how you can harness the energy of RAS, I would say. I would give you two best ways, bestest that I've applied, and I've done other things, but I love these two the most. One is affirmations, because affirmations will literally harness it, like exactly, you will start spotting those opportunities that make sense for your growth, because that's what, if that's your affirmation, my affirmation is that, okay, I want to buy a this particular car by November 2026. And if I keep repeating that, it's going to happen. If I'm going to say I'm going to make a $500,000 this year and every year moving forward, and you know that's all day, every day. As in, all day, every day means in the background. So remember how I said, bring it in the foreground. Now, what comes in the foreground will also constantly run in the background, because, like I said yesterday, the um, 95% of the thoughts we are not aware of. We are not conscious of our unconscious thoughts. But what goes in the unconscious repetition is what you have been bringing it in the foreground, and that's why the affirmations work. So if you want to achieve something, you go with an affirmation that, okay, this is how I want. Don't make 10,000 different affirmations. Make three primary affirmations that's most important to you. If you are fighting for survival needs, go with that. If you are fighting for a need of identity, that no, I want to believe and I want to be something, I know I can do survival, I'm all good, but I want to rise, I want to go higher. Make it that way. If spirituality is your goal, go in that direction. You have to affirm, and you have to keep repeating that. When I used to do affirmations, which I still do, not as much, but when I had certain like mindset things that I wanted to shift and I wanted to do, because I was a homemaker all my life. So for me, I was doing a $20,000 babysitting job in my first job after I came out of raising my kids. When my kids turned 18 and 16 and 18 and over, and I thought like, okay, now is the time, I want to do something. And all I did was babysit, all I did was raising my kids, so that's what I was the best at, and that's what I enjoyed and wanted to do, and probably that's what I thought that I can do. That was, I thought that was my, that's my paradigm. Because if 15, 20 years if I've been doing just that, that's my belief system, that I am very good at it, this, but I've not tried anything else. I'm not as confident at it as I should be for anything else. So I started with $20,000 job of a babysitting, which I loved. I loved it. But then I felt I can do something more, and I can make more, because I was feeling very happy and satisfied, but I wanted to prove something to myself. I wanted to see if I can make more money all by myself. And then I made, the first year I wanted to kind of say I want to make $250,000, but I did not have the guts to even affirm that. So it's very important that your affirmations and your emotions also has to come in. It has to come in alignment. That does not mean that if you are making 20 today, you cannot affirm 200. If you can go with that belief, you're emotionally, you can charge yourself with that belief, then you can definitely make 200 from 20 to 200. I had to think from 20 to just 60. And then from 60, I was able to think 200. So it's up to you how you can rise, and you will know better. Or there are other things that you can do to kind of accelerate and do whatever it takes for you to change your mindset so quickly. So I do NLP coaching also. So it's like different techniques that you can use to excel it faster. But nonetheless, affirmations, that's one way to train your RAS, to harness that energy of RAS. And then the one thing that I even spoke about yesterday is gratitude. When you are feeling grateful for, most of us, like whatever we have complaints against, that's very easy for us to come. We'll say, oh, it's not working out for me. Or you'll say, oh, my legs are hurting today. Oh my God, every day I have a knee pain. Oh my God, I have, this, I have that. So it's where our focus is. Our focus is on complaints, and it's very easy. Even if you see it in the news, there's so many good things happening, but what does news have all the time? Gossip, violence, stress giving news. Why? Because that sells. Because that's how we are wired. Our brain, our identity is wired to protect us. And our brain will kind of immediately look for anything that's not working out, because we feel we have to protect ourselves. And what if it happens to us? So that's half the reason, or maybe 80% of the reason, that we are not able to even do good affirmations, because our RAS is trained and wired with that mindset. So to change that, when you start doing gratitude, and doing gratitude is not saying, "Oh, thank you so much, this happened," and just said it once and done it. It's not like that. Gratitude is like you start writing by 5 things, 10 things a day, then you follow up with one whole page a day, then 10 page a day, or whatever works for you. I write 4 hours of gratitude, but I begin with only three. I will just write 3 or 5 of those, a day. And of course, then is the level of progress and speed that you want, that how much you want to invest your energy. Most of us will be willing to crib about it, that it's not working out, and we can spend a whole day cribbing about it. But when it comes down to investing the energy, we kind of, because we've used and drained all our energy in that, right? So it's very important how you train it. So when you start training your RAS for gratitude, you will start noticing more things that you can be grateful for. And the more you notice that, now your RAS knows what exactly do you want to notice. So now it will bring you opportunities that you can be very grateful for, if that makes sense. That's your subconscious, and how you can take care of that first day of Ma Shailaputri, and believe and begin to build that strength and determination that you can do it. And then why I've done this is just a little bit an extra explanation for this, is how we are reacting. So we are having an experience. That experience triggers an emotion. And emotion, scientifically, they say if for 90 seconds you can just hold your breath and just get your nervous system in rhythm, takes 90 seconds for the emotions to start fading off. And like how I explained yesterday about the water, the river, and the ripples when we put a stone. So that's that stone that happens. But then what happens is amygdala hijack. What is the amygdala? That is the part of the brain that is wired to tell you when there is danger. And you know how the smoke alarm, um, sometimes like there's no real fire, sometimes it's just toast burning and the fire alarm goes off. That's what our brain is doing. There is no real danger. The danger is just in your head. Like it's not, something has not happened just right now, right? A lot of times we just remember something what happened in the past, and that will start to trigger all those hormones, and that energy starts to rise up, those emotions starts coming. What is that? That's toast burning. It's not the house burning. But we have not realized, our mind is so wired to protect, that it just starts to kind of freak out, that oh, what if it's not toast, what if it's the house burning, I have to run, and it just starts to go on that roller coaster ride. And then that starts to trigger everything. As soon as your amygdala hijacks your entire, so it hijacks the system, your brain. And what it does is ECN is this part of you. ECN is that tower of you that's conscious, that's aware, that's powerful, that has the ability to focus, to discern. But naturally, when this Amygdala hijacks. It hijacks, the first thing it hijacks is your ECN. That's your ability to rationalize and analyze and figure out that is the fire really happening to the house or the toast. Correct? That shuts off. As soon as that shuts off, your DMN, the chapter of what we talked about yesterday, the autopilot and the obvious thinking. Thank you, Akansha. Right? So that autopilot, auto response of your identity, that takes over. Right? It takes over that, oh, right now, this brain is not capable of thinking right now because it's been hijacked. Let me take control, if that makes sense. And that's how the DMN takes control. Once DMN takes control, now the DMN, because DMN, where is that DMN coming? Where is this coming from? It's coming from the identity. Every experience that your identity has experienced. So now identity and DMN has the similar. You know how if I like sports and you like sports, we'll be good friends, right? Then we'll talk about it, and then we'll talk nonstop about it. Why? Because we have similar choices. Similarly, this identity and the auto response that is throwing the DMN, that network, they are very interlinked. They are very comfortable talking to each other. That's because that's self-referential. That's how it's begin to build. And this exactly knows what this is. So now they have a very good rapport. As soon as they take over, now there are narratives happening. What is a narrative again? What happened 5 years back? We'll start to bring that into picture. Oh, what exactly happened that? Oh, right now this happened, the same person did that also. See, that happened. That's how you start getting into that zone where something did not really actually happen right now, and you are starting to ruminate about old things that has no value right now. It's not serving you any purpose. But that's how the narratives happen, and that's how you go into victim mentality, because now that happened 10 years back, but it's sitting in your memory so fresh, and now something happens. What are you gonna say? It always happens to me. I'm always, everybody always does that. It's not always. It happened 10 years back, but your memory is very, very fresh about it. You remember. And then you start to make those stories. And then those stories and that mentality is now again making your identity even more, layered with the similar thought processes. Now that is creating a frequency. Every emotion that we feel, imagine, believe, this is so powerful because this is your whole identity. So your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs, your narratives, your habits, your values, everything, your environment, everything that's adding to your environment, everything is all together in this, and that's emitting a signal. It's a frequency. It's like a radio station, right? And it's an antenna that's broadcasting that this is who I am. This is exactly what I do all day, every day, and this is what exactly I would like to experience more. Even though if you don't want to really experience, but now you don't want to experience something that you don't like in this part. But this part is shut off right now. That part is inactive. Only this part is active. So that part is already vibrating and saying, okay, this is how it's been always and every time. And again, now the RAS is taking command in a negative way. Not in a negative way, but it's not serving you any purpose, because now RAS, because you just started to say, if you just start to do gratitude and affirmations, your RAS is still grasping. But this is your 10, 20, 30, 40 years of life which has already trained the RAS. So it's very challenging for the RAS to maintain that new balance or rhythm. So it's going to get lost. And what it will do is it will then kind of listen to whatever your identity is saying. And that's how you, like the radio frequency I said, if you are on 99.8 FM and you want to tune into 101 FM, you will listen to another radio, but you cannot, because you are tuned into, you dialed into 99.8 FM, so you can only listen to what the 99.8 FM is playing, right? So that's how the law of attraction works. And from that law of attraction, what law of attraction brings to you is resonance. If you are tuned into 99.8 FM, that's the experience that's tuning in, that's the radio playing. This is the music that's coming to you. That experience, the new experience that you are attracting, is an exact proportional frequency, exactly what you are emitting. So it's very, very, very important for us to switch that frequency, to switch that identity, so that we can emit a different frequency, so that we can tune into a different radio signal, right? And this was explained so that you know that where are we getting trapped. This is a reactive field. You see that? That's a reactive field. That's a heart, but the heart is only reacting, it's not creating. When you are in a reactive mode, you cannot create, right? When you are in a reactive mode, it's only going to bounce off of the other energy, right? Like the seesaw, if we know. Seesaw, you cannot, if one person sits down on the other side, by default, the other has to sit and it will bounce up. But it's only going to be in opposites at all times. So that's what it happens is that you are bouncing off of each other's energy, but you are not in control. So to take control, you have to be very, very aware that if that stone is thrown, immediately as soon as the amygdala is hijacked, there's a timeline, there's that 90 seconds, the emotion is still processing. If you let it go in 90 seconds, if you let go of the control, then the amygdala will hijack. If you don't let go of the control and you say, no, I'm conscious and nothing's happening right now, and everything that's happening around me, I am able to handle it, I am capable of it, then slowly you will start to kind of, you know, lower that emotions, not lower but decrease those emotions and reactions and everything. And that's how you can kind of slowly, slowly, slowly tune out of that kind of frequency and tune into the new ones that you want to start inviting in your experience, the opportunities. That's how successful people filter their opportunities. How come they spot the right opportunities and we sometimes miss out on that because our focus is not on that. For me, all my life, I was always only focused on my kids, my family, my home. That was my life. So I would not be able to see anything beyond that. And it never was important to me. But then when I chose to that, okay, I want to make a certain amount of money, I want to prove it to myself, it took some time before I could rewire my mindset and start looking for those opportunities, and not just the opportunities, but also the talent or the ability within me. I saw only one ability all this time in me, that I'm a very, very wonderful homemaker and a wonderful mother and a wife. So I only knew that ability. That does not mean I didn't have other abilities, but I had not reflected on it ever. That's what we do. We don't reflect on anything ever. We just live and survive. And the goal of this 9 day workshop is not to survive, but to rise, ascend, and thrive. That's the goal. And that'll take me to the third one. Akansha, how much time do we have? It's 43 minutes just we spoke. Still have time, 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Okay, perfect. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So this took care of the first part that I said was strength and determination is our strengths. That is the divine strengths that we have within, which we have to start, you know, building that strength up, building that determination, making them more resilient, more powerful, so that we can start operating off of this so much more, and we start inputting the things that we want to see plant, consciously see plant the seeds. So far, till we didn't know about all this, everything was planted just by chance. I do not watch news. I'm not saying you don't need to, but if you cannot get up and do something about it, then it's not going to serve your purpose. It's only adding to that chaos and stress. It's only asking the universe that these are the thoughts that I like, and this is what I'm focused on. So let your energy, you know, it's it's so it's sad, and it's actually very shocking that we often do this. We will not let somebody come into our house with dirty shoes. We are so careful of our house, but we do not even mind what comes into our mind. We don't have any blocks. My husband used to always say, he still says it, doesn't say it as much because now I know and now I've learned. But what are you letting in? Do you have a gatekeeper who's watching what to let in and what not to let in? We let any kind of dirt, any kind of news, any kind of thoughts, that does not serve us purpose, and we let them in and let it dirty our mind. That's what we need to stop. Till you don't stop doing that, it's very hard for you to tune into. You only have this much energy. You can either use it here, you can either use it here, you can split it. But when you split it, the results are also split, right? And that's how we manifest. Sometimes it happens, oh, everything worked out, and sometimes it doesn't. Why? Because sometimes all your energy you have put it in one bucket. That's when it manifests. But a lot of times we put half energy here, half is scattered here, half is scattered there, half is scattered on the other front. None of the fronts are happy, and none of the fronts are winning, because all has little bit, little bit, little bit. So it's very important what a kind of energy you are letting in your mind. Don't let anybody in your mind. Don't let other emotions, other thoughts, other beliefs, and other dirt come into your mind just because they are there and you are not aware, so it just came, right? So be very, very, very conscious and focused on what you want to. You have to be so focused, and for that you have to know first what exactly you want. That's another whole. I do a mind map. Oh my god, my mind maps are all trailing off of each other, and I probably am going to do a live for that tomorrow or day after. But do a mind map, do everything. Like, you need to go in so much detail that what exactly it is that you want. Only then you can make those affirmations. Only then you can train your RAs that this is the direction I want to go. If they don't know the direction, your brain, they as in the RAs and the affirmations, it's not going to land anywhere. You'll just keep driving, your fuel is getting over, your energy is getting used, but you're not reaching nowhere. So it's very important, first of all, that who are you? You have to know who exactly you want to be, right? Who are you, not as in the current moment, but who are you 2 years after, 1 year after, 5 year after? Exactly that person. What is that identity? How is that person? How does that person react? How does that person talk? How does that person stand? How does that person react? Or, what is the qualities? Is that person compassionate? Is that person very smart? Is that person very calm, mellow, peaceful? What is it? Is that person very driven? What is that person? Who is that person? That's very, 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 very important for you. So start tuning into that. That will already take 50% of your focus from any reactive field that we are left in, just by chance. That is a completion of achieving and overcoming, rather, the self doubt and the self victim mentality, and why we procrastinate. Procrastination also was one of the procrastination and discipline. So discipline and procrastination also is actually, where does it come from? It comes from drive, right? That motivation comes from, so the discipline comes from the drive, not the procrastination. But the discipline comes from the drive. The drive, where does that drive comes from? The drive comes from the belief that you can do it. When you are confident that you can do it, then you will run for the race. If it's me, if somebody told me, okay, go run with somebody, I'm not gonna run. Why? Because I'm not confident of that. I can't run. I'm not able to do push up. I'm not even a pull up. I'm not trying. And I admit that's my fault. I should try. And I started trying, started doing my squat and my hanging, so that I'm slowly building the muscle. Right? I'm not just teaching you without not trying to practice it. I'm practicing it. And slowly it happens. The more you do it, the more belief you will start to cultivate. When you have enough belief gathered, that energy is accumulated, that's when you have that drive, because now you're confident, now I can do it. Right? What is procrastination? Procrastination is absence of that belief, absence of the discipline. Absence of the discipline is coming from the absence of self-worth, of confidence. And that procrastination is happening because you are not sure that if you can do it or not. Forget sure if you can do it, you are not sure of what you want. And that's why I said, let's do that mind map. We have to do that. What exactly do I want? When you know the road, it's like if I want to go from here to, I live in Paul, if I want to go from Ohio to New York, I don't know the way. How am I going to take the lead? I'm not going to take the first leap at all because I don't know the way. That's why procrastination happens. So it's beautiful matrix, how everything is playing. It's an interplay of everything. That how the drive comes, how so many things are at play. So when we start connecting those dots and we, start going block by block by block, that's how we start to rise and ascend. And that's beautiful. Even when you start to rise, even one step, two step, you will start gaining that confidence. Okay, if I was able to do this much, I can now go further higher. That's the beauty. Now coming to the Brahmacharini Ma, and what she teaches is she teaches basically that penance and devotion and detachment, letting it go. We spoke a little bit about what it is that she went to do tapasya, penance, to achieve, Shiv. And what is that? Achieving Shiv means what? Achieving a goal. She had a goal, definite goal. I want to do this. With that detachment and devotion, what is she teaching? She's teaching that when you make a goal, you become like a horse. You should. And you can only see the horse. Sorry, only see the goal, right? And everything on the sides is not important. Let it go, right? That's detachment. That's anything except this is not important, is not worthy of my energy for me to invest. Because again, what I said before, if you start investing that energy and time there, you are now losing that much edge to your goal, right? The time or the momentum or whatever you want to call it, or whatever you feel in that part, in that, it lags. Your destination starts to feel further away because it's going to slow down your speed because now you're scattered, you're going here, it's like you're going to go straight, but now you saw something in the left, so you went left, or then you saw another thing in the left, so you went another further left. Now you're just going, you went 10 miles away. Now you have to first cover that 10 miles before you can even start your journey back up to where you want to go. That's what is happening to all of us, and this is beautiful for that. So this is what I've tried to draw is a pendulum. This is our conscious self, and this is us as an identity. We took birth, and then, like I explained yesterday, we have a, you know, we have a, the spirit is right here, and this is our soul. The spirit is here, and the soul had the option to explore and co create. It had a free will. So it started off going a little bit. It thought, okay, let me just explore. It explored, and then it wanted to, what it desired, it wanted to achieve. So it achieved. This felt good. So it went again. Let me seek something else. Then it went again to achieve it. Then it went again. That's how this circle kept becoming bigger and bigger. And that's the pendulum. So you go here, and this again, this is also beautiful. So this is also being proven by science now. This is so beautiful. And many of you may know if you are watching videos like I do, similar kind of videos, then that what it is that we are all getting so used to the dopamine release and hype that, so what is dopamine? Dopamine happens every time when you feel that adrenaline rush, when you are so excited, when you get something that you wanted, and you feel that confidence that, oh, I did it, and this happened, and this is phenomenal. Or even it happens even when we eat food that we like. It happens when we um, whatever, whichever desire we felt like and we achieved it, it happens then. The dopamine, our body releases dopamine. And when that happens, what happens? When that happens, now you feel, oh, this was so fabulous, right? But it only stays for a little while. It's like the soda bottle, right? You open the cap, the soda comes out, the like in full power, and then what happens? Then it gets flat. But then we don't like that. So what we do is, let me seek something else that's going to give me that dopamine, right? So first it goes up, first it goes here, and then you miss it. it becomes flat. So then you go, okay, what else can I bring? That's going to, again initiate that dopamine release. So that's what. So now that science is also saying that's what's happening. That we like it so much. That's what we do. That, what is it called? Scrolls doom. What's doom scrolling? Doom scrolling. You just keep scrolling. Why? Because either you saw a video that was so nice, so you felt like, let me do the next one. I'll enjoy that one too. Or what is happening is you did it, but you didn't like it. So again, now that is drop off dopamine. So you are like, okay, the next one I will get it. So you start seeking it. So that's how it's happening, according to science. And then in the spiritual world, or the what I'm trying to explain through my mass guidance, is that's how our spirit started to get further and further and further away. And that's what I'm saying, that now your identity starts to connect with this. It had the option to connect with the spirit, and it had the option to connect with the free will. But the more it experienced the free will, the more it started using it, and it started to getting further away from it. So it gets very, very hard for us to instantly shift it. What we can do is, now, yesterday, if you remember, we or how many ever were you were present here. So yesterday I mentioned that, where does the desire happen? The desire happens in the heart, right? Where does the spirit live? In the heart. As much as it has the power to, you know, not the power, but as much as it's getting strayed away, it can also listen to the guidance system. And like how I said, if you keep raising that frequency and reach to the core of your heart, and this raising the frequency comes with gratitude. Trust me, it is so, so, so beautiful. My whole journey is based on gratitude. If this happens now, I said yesterday that once you reach here, this invisible bridge sort of lights up, and the divine herself, the divine herself lends you the hand. She becomes your sati. She becomes your charioteer. What happens when she becomes your charioteer? She knows exactly where your real spirit wants to go. So she starts to take you. She starts to uplift you. When she starts to uplift you, she is creating an upward spiral. What happens is, now again, what comes handy is the law of inertia. Because this was on and on, you're looking for dopamine, it went on moving, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger further away, right? Because it catches the momentum. Because law of inertia is in action. That means if there is constant motion, it won't stop until an external force comes into the picture. This is the external force that comes into the picture. It's not really external, it's internal. But external as in external of your human desires, internal. And once, if you have uplifted yourself, if you've raised your frequency to this level, then it becomes far more effortless, very, very effortless. And you don't have to start. And again, now we come back to the same concept, that you cannot, take one thing, you cannot create that conflict and try to snatch away. Every time you're going to think that I don't want to be thinking about the desire and the achievement, you are going to think about it. It's like if I told you, guys, listen, there's a red ball, please don't touch the red ball. What are you going to see? The red ball, right? That's what you will think of automatically. So that's what happens when you try to forcibly stop this, it's not going to stop. It's only going to give it more momentum and more push. So the only way is to raise the frequency, and raise it enough that you hit the core of the heart. Your purity starts to take over. And that's when, like I said, once the divine blessing comes in, the divine grace takes over. This is the upward spiral, and now that is obstructing this pendulum. This cannot move any longer. There is a whole big vortex of energy. It cannot move. It will move. It will come, but it will go back here. It will keep going from here to here. You will be able to gain balance. As you gain balance, the more and more you gain balance, this will start to close the gap. This will start to close the gap. What is this? These are like the ghostly things. Oh my God. So these are the thoughts and emotions that are not serving us purpose. They come, so they are created by us by doing the karmas that we did forever, right? Till we were not aware, and that's all right. Now we are aware. But these come because they can only feed off of this energy. It has control only this. It has control only till here. Over here, it does not have control. So what they do is they try to feed off of you because they are the ones who are sitting here. If this starts to not extend there, what are they going to feed off of? Right? And that's why they try even more harder. So when you are channeled in, when you are getting more and more higher, when you are raising your frequency, you will often see that you will see more difficulties coming your way. That does not mean that the difficulties are coming more. We lot of time we feel that, oh, now that I'm trying to get better, things are coming at me. It's not that. There are two things that's happening. One is that you are becoming more aware. So I was just talking to my husband today morning, and we're just talking about that how, like I do gratitude every day, and a day or two I don't do it, and I feel like, oh, I got to charge myself, and I was like, that's it. It shouldn't be like that, right? You don't, like, I cannot be 24/7 charging my phone, right? Similarly, I cannot, even if gratitude is charging me and raising my frequency, I cannot be doing that 24/7. I have to do other things. I have to live my life. So isn't that ridiculous? Shouldn't it charge more, because it's so divine? And what he mentioned was so true and so perfect, that it's not that clutter or that discharge that I feel is lack of that energy, but it's now I've become so much aware. Before, like, if there was clutter around me, I wouldn't know. If I had, like, I'll often tell to my kids that when I tell them to clean up, their cleanup and my cleanup does not align. I'm like, your definition of clean and my definition of clean is not the same, but is the same with your mind clutter, that the definition that we have today or yesterday was different. This much clutter didn't bother us because we were not aware of that clutter. We were not aware of this 95% of the unconscious thoughts. We were just, it was just there. We were not aware, right? But now that we are aware, even if this 95% has gone down to 40%, it's still going to bother you because you can see it so well, and now you start to expect more and more from you. I think my time is over, I think, right? Akanksha mentioned right now. But so that's the goal. So your goal is now to take care of these pendulums and not get drawn into the dopamine rush. And that's how you can climb that ladder and become more, what is it, what solutions it'll get. Oh, it'll get you off of the out of control desires and addiction and dissatisfaction, because the more that dopamine hit you feel, the more you seek, so more deprived you feel. So it will heal you from those things, and that's how you rise in the second step of the second form that Ma explains us, the divine is explaining this to us. Thank you so much. It was amazing, and I have been loving talking about all